Hi. Gotta get set up here. Okay. Here we go. I have some nature sounds going. We'll stop those. And I gotta mute my phone. I'm on time. Oh, look it. I've got my stuff on here. Got my little tracker. Okay, I gotta mute this phone here. It is Tuesday morning, 9 a.m. sharp. I was on time. None of you are. You're not here. Dean just brought me these flowers. He just walked the dogs. I don't know if these are dandelions. They don't have the, well, I think they must be dandelions. Yeah, these are from our property. You know, we have all these wild flowers. There's not as many today I mean, nowadays, there were a lot of flowers in the spring. We have Queen Anne's lace right now mainly, but he didn't pick any of that. Yeah, you can do all. I'm looking at below here, this ticker here. That's good. Let's put something on the screen here. I want to share. Let's see. I'm gonna have to share the entire screen to get this. Forgive me. I just have to find this here. Where is it? Here it is. There we go. I have to get back so I can see what I'm doing here. Let me. There I am. Yeah, so that doesn't really work, does it? Let me see if it. Forgive me. I'm trying to share my screen. It's not a web page. It's just like this. I can't really see myself. I don't know. Can I move this thing? Okay. I have my controls. Okay. I can't see myself though. Yeah, we're just putting this on the screen here. And how is it looking? I guess I'm in a little box down at the bottom of the screen, right? And that's fine. I don't mind being in a little box. I just want to see myself really quick. Yeah, I'm in a little box. Okay, I'm going to shrink this now. Okay. Go. Yeah, I just think this is beautiful right here. That's the look on. I don't know who this commentator is. I know she's really tough. She's like a real tough talker on Fox. I know. I've seen excerpts. Oh. Anyway, yeah, look at her. She looks like, oh. And here's the head of the so-called head of the FBI. He's not in charge. He's just a front man. And there's, look at Pam Bondi. She's so lovely. She has not a care in the world. Mr. Robot Man here. I don't know this guy. And look at this doofus here. Yeah, let's make him big. Let's look at him really close. I don't know if I can. I don't have any control. Oh wait, I do. He's getting less clear though. The bigger I make him, and he looks like he looks like such a doofus there. He looks like such a goofy dude. Look at that goofy, like Donald Duck. That looks like Donald Duck, don't you think? Look, it looks like a little beak right there. He does. That's a really good shot. Whoever took this intentionally, like, waited for the perfect moment. And Pam, she's, I don't have a care in the world. I want to look good for the cameras. But I just think this is classic. This is how this woman feels inside. I mean, she just, oh. And he looks like he's really nervous. Trying to have a poker face here. Oh, nothing's wrong. Everything couldn't be more perfect. Everything's going according to plan. Well, okay, let me stop sharing. I need to go back. Stop sharing, and let me go back. Let's look for I'm going to look for let's see what the Epstein, there's a big trial today. This is day 2 of the trial. Epstein Files trial. Let's see what's going on there. Judge won't unseal. Well, we know that. We heard about that yesterday. The judge refuses to unseal the transcript of the grand jury that indicted Epstein's ex-girlfriend, whatever her name is. But I'm just wondering, there's a trial going on today regarding the rest. That was a different matter, and this is another matter. I'm trying to remember. So, his girlfriend, whatever her name is, Ghislaine Maxwell, is guilty. She participated. She deserves to be where she is. They're not going to let her off like she's some victim. She was no victim. She victimized. Okay, that was decided already. But then there was another, okay. Oh, I know what it is. It's not Epstein. It is California. It's the National Guard. He sicked the National Guard on California without California's request. California has jurisdiction. It's only in the event of an emergency when California asks for the assistance of the federal government that Trump is ever supposed to get the National Guard on the streets of LA, but instead he just decided to unilaterally just make believe there was some kind of emergency. Yeah, they're trying to round up all the immigrants in Los Angeles. And there were some protests, and he just took that as an excuse. And California's like, no. And a panel of 3 judges, Trump appealed. The decision was, that he didn't have a right to do that. And then he appealed, and a panel of 3 judges let him appeal. It's disgusting. But they didn't take into consideration the law. What is the law? It's some Latin name. The law pertaining to the National Guard being deployed in Los Angeles. Posse Comitatus Act, right? All right, and I'll share my screen. I'm sorry, I'm just so clumsy with all of this. All right, let me share. The Posse Comitatus Act, enacted in 1878, generally prohibits the U.S. military, Army, and Air Force from being used. Well, I guess it was the Marines, right? Did he intentionally use a different branch of the military to circumvent this, sidestep this law? I don't know. Army and Air Force from being used to enforce civilian laws within the United States. It aims to prevent the military, which includes the Marines, from being used in a law enforcement capacity, a practice that was more common before the Act's passage, during the Civil War, when the South didn't want all those federal troops around, watching their every move, breathing down their neck. However, there are exceptions where the military can be involved in law enforcement, such as when specifically authorized by the Constitution or an act of Congress. Here's more detailed information. The act was passed in response to the extensive use of the military in civil law enforcement during the Civil War and Reconstruction era, which led to abuses. Key provision: it generally prohibits the use of the Army and Air Force to execute the laws. Okay. Exceptions: the act does not apply to the Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard. Additionally, the president can use the military to restore public order and enforce laws in cases of natural disasters. It was not a natural disaster. Epidemics. It was not an epidemic. Terrorist attacks. Wasn't a terrorist attack. Or other situations when determined necessary. Congress can also authorize military involvement in law enforcement activities. I bet you that's why he used the Marine Corps, because it specifically does not apply to the Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard. I mean, that's the technicality of the law, and that's what he was trying to do, was get around the law. So, okay, only Army, Air Force, so I'll send the Marines, and that's what I think we're on at least I heard of some photos of Marines on the ground handcuffing people. So he's trying to get around the law, you see. But, it says it generally prohibits. It does not apply to these branches. But the only reason it doesn't apply to those branches is because they used the Army and Air Force, I guess, in the past. Was there an Air Force in the 19th century? Did they even have airplanes? I don't know why it says Air Force. So I guess, I don't know. There was some logic behind this. And it generally refers to the military. But that is the exception, then, except for the Navy, Marine Corps, or Coast Guard, or space. What is it? Space? What is it called? Space? What do they call it? Force, right? Isn't it Space Force? Yeah. The act has been a factor in discussions about the military's role in responding to events like natural disasters, riots, right? Border security. That was not happening in Los Angeles at the time that President Trump sent troops, or whatever he sent, activated the National Guard. That is the California's National Guard, okay? It's the National Guard of California. And he didn't wait for Governor Newsom to ask for them, request them. He just decided to make it look like an emergency and unilaterally sent them, regardless of their need over there. And California has sued the administration. But they only sued for one part of the violation. They did not sue over this, the Posse Comitatus Act. And that's what this new case that's going on today. It's a trial. I assume it's in California. It's with the same judge that ruled the first time before they appealed to the 3-judge panel who dismissed it, or whatever, dismissed his judgment. This time, they're going to take up this act, which was violated. I mean, I know he's trying to get around it. They're going to argue, we said the Marines. We did not say the act does not apply to the Marines, Coast Guard, or Navy. That's their argument. That's their loophole. So disgusting. But I mean, they should have revised this law to include all branches of the military. It's just in 1878 they just had an issue with the Army on the ground. So Army soldiers from the Army, occupying the South to make sure that they abided by, the new law of the land, which was no slaves or something. And they didn't like that. So I guess that's why it says Army, but I don't know. I don't think they had an Air Force. Let me just look up when the Air Force was formed. Well, Air Force, the Air Corps was part of the Army. Right. That's why my grandpa, he was in the Air Corps. He always used to say the Air Force. But in his day, there wasn't an Air Force. It was just the Air Corps it was part of the Army. And that's why they're saying the Air Force, because I guess the Air Force was born out of the Army. It was the Air Corps. Now they're independent, but that's why it's just those 2 branches that should have extended to all branches of military. But back in those days, I don't even know if they had any other branches of military. They just had the Army. The Army is the only branch of the military that can be found in the Constitution. So that's why it only applies. See, that's the thing. I mean, he's just trying to take advantage of laws and loopholes. But that is why there's no other branch named in the act, because those other branches didn't exist. And, the Air Corps didn't exist either. They didn't have airplanes in 1870, whatever. Was it 79? I'm not sharing. Yeah, I'm sharing this one. 1878. Yeah, my short-term memory is just like everybody else's. It's my long-term memory that is so impressive. Yeah, and it's right there on the screen. I could have looked, right? I don't know if turning on this light would help. So, I don't know. I just figure we should probably look and see what's happening in the news. I have a news here on. I'm gonna just. I don't know. Maybe I can mute this while I'm playing. Okay, there it is. I'm just gonna. All right, Lily, it's okay. I've got some 24-hour news going on here. I have a history with NBC, so I've chosen NBC. Okay. Oh, here's Zelensky. Let's see what's happening in the world. I'm going to share this. Stop this sharing, and let's get over here to NBC. Okay, Lily.
X this morning, Zelensky claimed that Putin is not getting ready to end the war, but that Ukrainian intelligence suggests the Russian army is making preparations for a new offensive.
Also, Danielle, European leaders released a statement this morning. This was backing Ukraine's sovereignty. How worried are they about these talks? Do they have a message for President Trump heading into these conversations?
Yeah, the Europeans have been sidelined from this meeting, which they're not very happy about. They're also unhappy about the fact that Ukraine itself, the country that's been invaded, it will also not be there. EU leaders put out a statement this morning, an excerpt of which reads, "The people of Ukraine must have the freedom to decide their future. The path to peace in Ukraine cannot be decided without Ukraine." Now, tomorrow, on Wednesday, there'll be a series of virtual meetings, an emergency virtual summit, if you will. Donald Trump is expected to join some of those meetings that will include European leaders and Volodymyr Zelensky. It'll be their last chance to make their case collectively before Friday's summit. Guys, back to you.
All right, Danielle Hamamdjian in our London bureau. Danielle, thanks.
Thank you. Well, in Texas, 3 people, including a child, are dead after a man opened fire in the parking lot of a Target store in Austin yesterday. Investigators say the man then fled the scene in a stolen car before they were able to arrest him. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson is in Austin with the latest.
Yeah, good morning. Chaotic scenes in the...
All right, I'm just checking the news here. So Zelensky, the idea of, Trump is actually saying that, I don't know, I guess there was news of there being a land swap. Like, I think Trump is saying now that Ukraine and Russia have to have a land. There's gonna be a land swap. No, there's no swapping of any land. Russia is going to respectfully return the land they unlawfully stole. That's what's going to happen. And Putin, I'm related to Putin. I'm related to Trump. Trump is one of my genetic fathers. Putin is one of my genetic fathers. This is why, Trump is so enamored with Putin, because Putin has a lot of my money. He's in control of a lot of money. He's like really wealthy, I guess. I don't know, one of the wealthiest people in the entire world, but it's just my wealth, that we gave a part of that, gave a big chunk of to him because we trusted him more than we trusted our government. Okay. So I guess maybe he has the bulk of it. They're using money laundering. My people, I authorized this when I didn't understand where my money came from or anything about it. I just knew I had a lot of money. It was 1994 when I discussed with the FBI how we were going to protect my money in my absence. Because I didn't understand why I had to be absent. They just said, well, until you can remember it, you're going to be absent. And when you can remember it, you can speak freely. And when you can remember it, just walk into the bank. I knew Wells Fargo was the bank. And I've walked into that bank so many times, I can't even count. But that's what I was supposed to do. And nothing has gone according to plan. So, I don't know. Maybe it's because my father, Dennis Elliott, was the trustee. I made him the trustee. I thought, okay, it was suggested that I should make my father, Dennis Elliott, the trustee of my trust. It should be me that's the trustee of my trust, but I didn't remember anything. I didn't know about trusts. I was, I was not that young, but I certainly wasn't educated, and I didn't have a financial education. My father went to Harvard Business School. He was in the area of finance, but he never taught me anything. He didn't want me to know anything because I guess his plan was to steal everything that was mine. I don't know. You'd think that he would have taught me all of these principles, all of these things, so I wouldn't have done what I did. But the people who protect me wanted me in the dark because that was the only way they could protect me until the time came. They knew it wasn't going to be until the way distant future, today, 2025, when I was finally going to be given all that was mine. And in the meantime, they had to protect me and my money. And I guess this was the best way to do it. I mean, it sucks for me, and it's great for everybody else. Yeah, but it sucks for me. I'm just trying to find the right balance here. Oh, Pennsylvania. That's not what I want either. Yeah, but I don't like that in my face either. Why can't I put that in front? Oh well. I guess I'll stop sharing for right now. There's nothing really going on. I mean, yeah, there's some explosion at a plant in Pennsylvania. I'm really near to the Pennsylvania border here. I think only 15 minutes away from the border. I haven't traveled down that way since, I arrived here on January 11th, 2025. Been here actually, yeah, yesterday. Oh, maybe that's a significant thing. I didn't even think about how yesterday was 7 months, calendar months, since I arrived here. January 11th was when we arrived to the property. We left on January 2nd. No. January 4th. 2nd is Daisaku Ikeda's another genetic father of mine. That was his birthday. But he passed away in 2023. I'm the only living SGI president now. So I used to be the other SGI president, even though I was the one who did all the work behind the scenes to make the SGI possible in my living room in Old Greenwich, Connecticut, when they nominated my genetic father on Guam. He was the adult and he was the man. I became the other SGI president. Okay. But now that my father, Daisaku Ikeda, has passed away, he's the other SGI president. I'm the only living SGI president. Okay. Not that it makes much of a difference to my life at this point. Okay, so yeah, yesterday I didn't really think about it yesterday. Yesterday was 7 months, calendar months, since we arrived to our property. It took us 7 days, 7 long, difficult, cold, very cold days to get here in our school bus with our 6 animals. It was really hard, and we needed service. Our brakes failed. Thank goodness it wasn't more serious than it was. We didn't have any kind of accident. And then we it's just ironic that as soon as we got all fixed up, we get back on the road and some dude in a truck in front of us has all this wood come off the back of his truck, and apparently it had some kind of sharp object in it, like nails or something, because we ran over it, and it must have been planned, and we got a flat tire. But I did think possibly we had a flat tire. I think I smelled rubber, and it drove differently, the bus, but we didn't want to believe it. We had just gotten all fixed up. No, we couldn't have a flat tire. No. And so we kept going and we kept going and we made it all the way up here. And people, there was, we stopped to get diesel fuel somewhere. And there was some guy that pulled Dean over and said, "Oh, you got a flat tire back there." And okay, thanks. And then Dean looks at it. No, it's not a flat tire. It was the inside tire and it was off the rim. But for some reason, Dean didn't think it looked like it was a flat tire. I looked at it. I didn't really know what to look for. I'm not an Dean is an old school auto mechanic. He got his, it's not a degree. It was a diploma in auto mechanics back at Augusta Tech back in, I guess 1982. He was given that diploma. It took him 2 years, but he can't work on new cars and he didn't work on diesel engines, but he's familiar, it's old school mechanics that gets our, that not our truck, our buses. But yeah, he didn't see it. I didn't see it. We traveled all the way up here with that flat tire. It was the inside tire, so it didn't really, it wasn't as serious. It was very snowy. We went through a winter storm. The door on the bus wouldn't close. It was all open and I'm driving and the cold winter air, frigid air is blowing on me. And I had red skin at the end of the trip because my skin was all chapped on my face from driving with air, the outside air and coming in. It was, no heater in there. I mean, we got heaters and we had a generator, but it didn't last long. Yes? Yes? What? Dean is downstairs in the kitchen. What are you doing? I'm on live, Dean. What are you doing? Okay, he's down. The kitchen's right below this room. And I guess I don't know. I heard him close the back door. What is he doing? I hope he's not getting into trouble. I always have to watch Dean. He's always up to something. All right. Let's see if there's anything else in the news. I'm going live every day now that Trump has taken over, has occupied Washington, D.C. I mean, I know the White House is in Washington, D.C., but he has declared an emergency and has used his ability to act as governor and has taken control of the police force in Washington, D.C., which is very alarming. And let me just glance and see if there's anything happening that's really exciting that I need to look at. There's some kind of ad right now, so it's not really an ad. It's just you're watching NBC News Now. Wow, they have 11.4 million subscribers. That would be so nice to have so many subscribers. I can't even imagine what that would be like. 6,059 people watching right now. God, wouldn't it be great? I would love to have such an audience. Will you help make that possible one day? I would really love to have millions and millions of people watching me and interested in what I have to say and what I'm doing. That would be such a dream, because everybody's ignored me and has treated me with such disrespect and they've just ignored me. I don't know what happened with Dean. I'm a little concerned. How long have I been on? Dean? He's outside. I'm a little worried about, okay, I've been on for 41 minutes. That's quite a bit of time. Yeah, I'm the National, I mean, not the National Guard. The National Guard's not here. No, what I mean is the Navy SEALs are not here. So I'm not going public quite yet. I was hoping, 9 a.m., the beginning of the business day. It is now 9:31 a.m. Actually, I guess it's counting the minutes that I had my countdown thing. I just worry about Dean. I can't leave him alone for a minute or there's a catastrophe. I mean, not always a complete catastrophe. It's just I have to keep an eye on him. It's 9:31. We don't I don't know what he's doing outside. We don't have anywhere to go. We have no money. So he's not leaving. I mean, we do have gas. And I suppose we could go and get our mail or do something like that. And we just can't go anywhere and have a cup of coffee because we don't have any money. But we could get out, I guess. We did this time. We did make sure we had enough gas. I'm just waiting for my life to begin, and that's why I'm on these live streams. I hope that I guess people want to observe me and know that I am alive and I'm well. I can talk about my memories so it's me. I'm not some imposter. I don't know. I really don't know what I have to do to get what is mine. And I'm a little frustrated. But it's not so hard for me to go live. I prepaid this subscription earlier in the year. It's going to run out sometime. I guess by the end of the year, it'll run out. And then I'll have to reevaluate my services and decide what to do. But if you have any questions, you can always put them in the comments, but I don't see anybody here really. I mean, I see one person. It might be myself. Maybe they count me. Let's see where the chat is. Here's the chat. There's no comments or anything. So I'm just talking to myself, and I know people will watch later, and I do know that I have a much vaster audience than is apparent here on YouTube and Facebook because they have this top secret feed, I guess, that I don't get paid. I mean, my accounts get paid for all the views, but I don't get paid. I guess YouTube has that rigged somehow because I know a lot of people watch my stuff. I don't get credit. I have like 0 views on my channel or whatever, 20 views. And maybe that's 20 million people that watched it. I don't know. I don't know how big my audience is. I know it's vast and it's big. And I know that I'm very popular in celebrity circles and the upper echelon of society because my Department of Empowerment has been developed into a vast network of people. It's a top secret network with people who have top secret security clearance. But it's a lot of people. You wouldn't think that many people would have top secret security clearance, but apparently there's a lot of people who do. And it's a pretty big population of people you wouldn't even expect. I guess, what's his name? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they've included other people who don't have top secret security clearance by having them sign non-disclosure agreements, possibly. And that's how they keep it secret. Maybe it's not all top secret. Maybe it's just celebrities that, everybody signs these NDAs. I don't know. It's something like that. Because, do you think Hulk Hogan had top secret security clearance? I don't know that he did. But, he's got a lot of information given to him and he just signs an NDA, right? Okay, I won't disseminate this information. I'll keep this quiet. And he can be taken to court if he doesn't. But yeah, I've got a whole organization of people that is the true SGI, that I formed in 1974. The current SGI, I am a member of. I'm an active member. But I'm just sitting here and, I'm in New York State in a rural area where there's not much happening. The closest community center is 2 hours away in Buffalo. And I can't chant. I've stopped. I cannot chant because if I do, it screws me up. Everybody else has, I recommend chanting the words Nam putting Nam in front of the words Myoho Renge Kyo. The reason I can't chant is because Myoho Renge Kyo is my ancient name. And when I guess the universe, like a computer program, interprets me placing the word nam, which is a Sanskrit word of devotion, saying I am devoted to, and the words, I'm pausing because I don't want the universe to misinterpret it. Myoho Renge Kyo is my ancient name. So it is also the title of the Lotus Sutra. And if you want to know more information, I have a little thing here. I can't send you any information about the Department of Empowerment because I have no contact. I have nothing to do with the Department of Empowerment. But if you're interested in Nichiren Buddhism, these are the websites you can go to. You don't, it's up to you if you want to go to a center or contact them by phone and have them hook you up to a district in your area. They still operate in. It's the only public organization, Nichiren Buddhist organization, that has the true teachings, but it's got its share of corruption. I have to say, I'm sorry to say that. I wish it didn't, but it does, and they still operate according to a hierarchy. And there's like levels, they have all these leaders, all these people get all these titles, and like the military, like they're at war. And Toda, who is I was Jose Toda in my past life. He set it up that way on purpose. Okay, it was a militaristic society over in Japan, and to transform it, he created a militaristic organization. Okay, to transform Japan. And he did a really good job transforming Japan, but it doesn't work in the United States. Okay, it just doesn't. We need to dismantle the hierarchy. Yes, there needs to be a central person. Yes. But yeah, I don't need an army of people that I issue my commands to, and then it goes down the line all the way down to the leader, to the members in the districts, and then they have to obey. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, that is a military thing. I know in the military, in times of emergency, it has to be like a machine. I understand that, but in real life, we don't want that kind of authoritarianism. That is authoritarianism, and in the military, it works because the machine has to work immediately. Nobody can think about it or decide if they want to obey. It has to be an automatic thing like a machine. And everybody in the military, I hope they understand that it's just for the purpose of acting in an emergency. In real life, that kind of hierarchy is not a good thing. It separates the people from their leaders, and our whole society is still built that way, far less so than Japan or older countries. But the whole point of creating the country that is America, and by the way, my nickname is America, and I should probably indicate that in my little on-screen elements. My nickname is America. I'm Queen Claire Elizabeth. I know this is top secret, and it's really, it's top secret because they want to keep it unbelievable. So nobody will believe a word I say. I mean, it doesn't qualify to be top secret. I'm supposed to be like a threat to national security. Okay. I don't know. I guess they could try to argue somehow, some way. I mean, I'm a human being. I'm a civilian. I live like everybody else. I don't have any ties to government other than my past history and how the family I was born into. I have no connection to any adversaries. I'm just all by my lonesome here with my husband, Dean, and our 2 dogs and 4 cats. And I'm really worried about Dean. So I need to kind of come to a close because I need to look for him. Dean? Okay, I don't know what he did. I hope he didn't drive anywhere. He doesn't drive anywhere. I always do the driving. The most driving he does is moving the car to the front of our property so we can easily leave. I wish he would just leave it back there. I'd rather walk up a slope than him walk down or up any number of stairs like in front of our property. Okay, so I do need to conclude things because I need to locate Dean and make sure everything's okay. He called up to me from the kitchen and he knows I'm live, so he doesn't want to interrupt me, but he's up to something and I need to track him down and see what he's doing. I'm not a control freak. It's just that Dean is not independent anymore, and he is kind of childlike, and I'm like his mommy, and he does stuff to get my attention. He treats me like his mother. He does the opposite of everything I tell him to do. It used to drive Alda, my mother-in-law, crazy. And now it drives me crazy because he does the same thing with me. And I keep telling him, I'm not your mother. I'm your wife, your loving wife, Claire. Please, when I tell you to do something or I ask you to do something or whatever, can you please cooperate with me? You don't have to do the opposite of what I tell you to do. But he always does the opposite of what I tell him to do or what I want him to do. And he knows it's the opposite of what I want him to do, but he can't help himself. It's really, he's becoming like, he's redoing his childhood with me. And now that his mother is dead, it's like he can't cope without his mother. His mother was such a dominant part of his identity. He can't cope without her. And so he's making me his mother. And I don't want to be his mother, but I don't have any choice because he's my husband and I love him. And I have to track him down now. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye for right now because I'm a little concerned. He's not in the house that I can tell. I think he would hear me if I yelled a couple times. You heard me. So I have to go outside and see what he's doing. I hope he didn't walk anywhere because he gets lost. And I haven't published July 4th. He got lost on July 4th again. And I showed up to he finally found the police station and I showed up there and everything was fine. I'm going to edit that video and post it. Yeah, but at least this time he was semi-familiar with Hornell and it wasn't as bad. But even in a place he's semi-familiar with, he gets lost. Alzheimer's runs in his family, and I believe I've been talking like this for years. Since 2016, when he first started getting treatment for his bipolar, I told her, he's got Alzheimer's in his family, and I see memory issues. He has memory issues. I believe he's in the very early stages of Alzheimer's, and they didn't see it. They didn't test him. They just didn't see it. I saw it because I brought it up in June 2016, when he started being evaluated. And now it is 2025, and he was tested, and we have an appointment with a neurologist in September. It took us 6 months to get this appointment because we're in a rural area. And he didn't do horrible on the test. They did do a test. They noticed that he had some issues, and they did a test, and he scored kind of medium. It wasn't very good. It wasn't very bad either. And so he's going to be evaluated. His memory will be evaluated in September, but he can't, he loses his wallet occasionally, his keys, he gets lost. He can't drive like he used to. I have to drive. He has to be with me. He can't be left alone. He has to be with me all the time. And now I don't know what he's doing. And he's doing it. It's subconscious. He's just doing it to get my attention. And he doesn't know why he does things anymore. It's all subconscious. All right. So I'm going to conclude because I have to find Dean. I don't want there to be any problems in the neighborhood. Okay. Over and out.